Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help. And King of Floors, your vinyl, laminate, and engineered flooring superstore.
It is Thursday, and as always on a Thursday, our guests are sponsored by our good friends at White Spot. What would we do without them? Looking for culinary adventure? Try White Spot's new Adventurous Burger lineup. Crab Cake Burger, Nashville Chicken Burger. You like that, Rick? Try them all only at White Spot. Just before we get to Jamie, I'm really surprised at the amount of support in our Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox
for Scheifele
that Mark Scheifele is getting. Here's one. I believe it's unsigned here. Guys, as much as I agree it was a bad hit, don't focus on distance traveled. That distance and head down and speed was to prevent an empty net goal. The last-second decision to follow through is the only issue. Again, that's unsigned, but there's a lot of support for Mark Scheifele. But again, I make the point. If that was your teammate, if Evans was your teammate, what would your reaction be?
Obviously, you got two sides. The Jets think it's okay. The Habs don't think it's okay. The Habs media last night, holy smokes.
Of course.
Yeah, you know, they're going defending the heck out of it and taking shots at, hey, there were NHL players that took to Twitter last night, folks, and defended Scheifele. Mm-hmm. What's he supposed to do? He's going 100 miles an hour. Can you not? Was he?
This is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying what the players were saying. He can't just stop. He had to. It's a split-second decision. He followed through, and the optics don't look good.
Let's bring in Jamie McLennan, Noodles from TSN. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. How's everyone doing today?
Very well. We'll get to the Leafs in a second. You're based in Toronto, but let's talk about that Scheifele hit. Just your opinion of what happened, Jamie.
Well, as somebody who ended my career on a suspension, that was something out of character from me. Mm-hmm. I think it was really out of character for Mark Scheifele, just based on the way he plays. Now, I'm not going to make excuses. I didn't like the hit at all, and I think it's a suspendable hit. I think, you know, there are times where if you are committed to the hit, you've got to find a way to you know, either get out of it or soften the blow. You know, Evans is trying to put the puck in, the puck goes in, then he gets hit. It's a scenario where I think people are drawing a straight line to Scheifele's third period, whereas there was a lot of frustration. Right. There were some stinky gloves. Like there was second round animosity, playoff intensity. I understand that, but you know, there's a human factor here, and I would argue that Mark Scheifele, after the game and woke up today, felt horrible about that hit. It's not a the only way I would defend him and say that's out of his character, doesn't matter. I did something out of my character. Didn't mean I was a bad person, but guess what? I did something stupid and it was a bad hit and I got suspended for it. I think Mark Scheifele is going to get suspended, rightfully so, for that hit. And it's a hit that people are going to draw the line to he skated 200 feet. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you skate 200 feet to get back into position or try and chase the puck down. I understand it. I don't think 200 feet away he was like, I'm going to try and take this guy's head off. I think what happened is he was committed to it, he was flying, and he ends up crushing him. Nobody wants to see somebody stretchered off the ice. But again, you have to be responsible for your actions on the ice. And I've tried to think how many games he will get. I know people are saying he should be done for the series, he should be done for the rest of the playoffs, all of these types of things. There is a process that the league is going to go through. I'd be shocked if he got 5. For some reason, 4 sticks in my mind, but I'd have no reason to back that up. But it's a suspendable play, and as much as there were people saying, you know, Evans had his head down, he committed to, and all of these other things, players have to be responsible for their actions out there. I hate hitting from behind. I think it's the most dangerous hit in hockey, but this one was a bad hit. Anything that involves the head, as we've seen, the league is very focused on that.
And it wasn't a headshot, so we'll give Mark Scheifele that. Do you think he was trying to, and we're getting emails and text regarding this, Jamie, do you think he was trying to prevent a goal or hurt someone?
No, I think the goal had gone in already. If you look, like, it looked to me like he he was going to either tie or the Evans had kind of already stuffed it in, and he was going to run through him. That's and you are allowed to hit, but not in that fashion. That's the difference. Like, you're still allowed to hit. You're still allowed to be bigger and stronger on the ice than other players, and Scheifele is a guy like that. But it comes back to being responsible for your actions. And, I know he's committed to the hit. I know he's probably thinking, all right, there's the empty netter, there's the game right there. But maybe if you want to send a message, no problem. But the way he went about it, it's just a little harsh for me. And I'm an old school guy. I always lean towards, giving people the benefit of doubt. But in that one, there's nothing I can defend on that play other than, I think it was out of character for a guy like Scheifele, who pretty much plays a pretty solid game. He doesn't go into that gray area too often, but last night he crossed the line.
Jamie, watching the Avs and Golden Knights last night, Philip Grubauer, boy, was he good last night. He's also a Vezina finalist. A lot of people said before the playoffs the Avalanche worried about their goaltending, and here this guy was drafted in 2010. He's having one heck of a season. He
is, and I think, including myself, I was worried about their goaltending, but not because of Philip Grubauer. I was worried about his health. Because what we saw last year is, and even the last couple playoff performances from Grubauer, he got the start in Washington, he stubbed his toe, they went to Holtby, they win the Cup. No problem. He goes on to Colorado, has an unbelievable regular season, gets into the playoffs, and then gets hurt. So that's not on him. But all I could think about is if this guy who's had another amazing regular season, it's a Vezina finalist, he's not going to win because Vasilevsky will, but amazing regular season. And if he tweaks a knee, they're going to Johansson. They're going to guys that are not only unproven, but there wouldn't be a lot of confidence from the group. So I think Joe Sakic learned his lesson in the bubble last year where he watched Grubauer go down, he watched Pavel Francouz go down, and it was Michael Hutchinson in Game 7 that Sakic had to kind of live with. So he goes and gets Dubnyk. Dubnyk is a proven NHL starter, even though he's on the back end of that. But he's at least played in meaningful games, and to me, it just shored up that position. So Grubauer was fantastic last night, and I love sometimes seeing those goalie battles because that was a high octane game last night. It was really impressive.
Hey, Jamie, I got to ask you about the Canucks goaltending situation. It looks like Ian Clark's going to be back. That's the feeling we get. Demko went to bat for him really, really hard in the media. Bring this guy back. What are your thoughts on Ian Clark and Demko, that relationship and everything in Vancouver?
Give him whatever he needs. Honestly, I've been a proponent of this. It's crazy that head coaches will make $3 million or $5 million in that, and assistant coaches can make up to $1 million. Goalie coach, $100,000. That's the most important position in all of hockey. And if you only notice goaltending when you don't have it. So I don't know what Ian makes. I'm just saying, like, it's really not a respected position, the goaltending coach, as much as it should be. And you're starting to see now in other organizations, Florida went public with it, where they have the goaltending development program. I know Montreal has depth with their goaltending program. Columbus, those are organizations that haven't really gone public with it, but there's other organizations that really pay attention to having goaltender development and maybe 4 or 5 sets of goalie eyes in their scouting and in their development process. So it should be a position that is not only highly paid, but really respected. And Ian Clark is one of the best. And if you've got your starting goaltender that you just signed a term and he wants his guy because he feels comfortable and he feels like this is a guy who understands him and knows how to get him ready and has gotten him better, then sign him. Because if you look at Ian Clark, he's got a fantastic history in Florida, in Columbus, and now in Vancouver. He's done a great job, if you ask me.
All right, Jamie, first time we've had you since the Leafs were knocked off by the Habs in Game 7. What's your theory on Toronto's demise?
2 things. I think at 3-1, they realized, they thought that the Habs were just going to pack it in. So the Habs deserve a lot of credit because in games 5, 6, and 7, they adapted their play and they didn't give up. If anything, they came out harder and they played with more determination. And I think there was a lot of adjustments by Montreal's side. I didn't see many adjustments from Toronto's side. And I don't know, I'm not going to lay that at the feet of the coach. The coach doesn't go out and play. There's a lot of guys making a lot of money on that team that didn't produce. But ultimately, I thought the Leafs played in games 5, 6, and 7. They played regular season hockey, and the Canadians played playoff hockey. They played for keeps, and just when the Leafs thought they were getting things rolling, Montreal would find a way to turn that puck over and go the other way. It was a game of inches, and Montreal won that. And, I know there's a lot of frustration in this market because, the Leafs are a very good team in the regular season, but they've got to find another level, and they've got to find a way to adjust on the fly in the playoffs to adapt to what's in front of them. And, it's a hard lesson for them because it's another year, and I know this is, it's kind of hindsight, but when McDavid lost 4 straight, there's people going, well, when's McDavid going to want out of Edmonton? Mm-hmm. Well, I saw some people trolling Austin Matthews going, oh, when's Austin Matthews going to want out of Toronto? It's just they've got to go through the process, and the organization has to retool and continue to surround these great players with other players that are supporting that can help them. But it was a tough lesson and a tough pill for them to swallow for sure, being up 3-1 and giving the series away on home ice.
Okay, and quickly, Jamie, as we let you go, we know Morgan Riley here. He's from the Vancouver area. What did you make of him wearing the YVR Vancouver Airport T-shirt during the Leafs media availability?
I didn't even notice it, to be honest.
We did.
I know all the monikers of airports, YEG, YYC, all of that. YVR, obviously. I'd be shocked if the Leafs didn't offer him a long-term contract and try and lock him in. I love Morgan. I think he's a fantastic person. I think he's a great defenseman. He's got a real great head on his shoulders. He's just everything about Morgan Riley I'm a fan of. He's actually one of my favorite players on the planet, just from a human side and from a player standpoint. So to be honest, I miss that. And I don't know if it was talked about much in this market, but, are you trying to connect the dots that maybe he ends up in Vancouver?
Because he's a smart guy. I mean, he throws that T-shirt on. Morgan knows it's going to cause a stir at the very least in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I said this. I don't know how you guys feel, but I said this, to have to do media at 10:30 in the morning after you lose, I would have not. Right now, and it's 3 days later, I wouldn't have taken a sober breath. That's just to have to do media. I would have sunglasses on and a hoodie because I would not want people to see what I was actually up to, because that was a stressful season for everyone. These guys being in a bubble, how much they gave up, from a standpoint of being with their families and loved ones and stuff. So when it was over, I would have thrown myself into a keg of beer or into a bottle of Tito's vodka for about 2 or 3 days to kind of just relax. So I'm surprised half these guys even made the media day, put it that way.
Yeah, good message for the kids there, Jamie. Thanks for that.
I'm not saying drive. I would take a cab to the place, but last I checked, if you're an adult, you can still drink. As long as you don't drive, you can be responsible.
Yeah, sunglasses and a hoodie is normal for you. You're a rock star in Toronto. Thanks for this, Jamie. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys. Talk soon.